Rethinking portfolios for course-based innovation. Let me ask you a question. Have you tried using CSU Thinkspace? This is Judy O'Connell, and I'd like to share with you some experiences in online subject enhancement through the use of CSU Thinkspace in the School of Information Studies. You may not realise that CSU actually has an excellent online tool available for all staff and students to use. This is located at the URL that you can see on the screen and is available for students with their CSU login, likewise for staff. You can see that it has a number of features obviously available, including an aggregation of the blogs, the policies that it's associated with, but more particularly, detailed support to allow students and staff to get engaged with using this tool, CSU Thinkspace, for creating blogs, portfolios, project websites, or any other form of learning journal for collaboration with peers. We've used it in a number of ways, but I particularly want to share with you our experiences in the Master of Education Teacher Librarianship. We were not only curious to see how we could enhance the future learning of our students and improve their integration into the profession, but we also wanted to see how we could enhance the learning experiences while they were at CSU. This particular degree is targeted to qualified teachers, so these people coming into the course are practitioners who wish to engage in a new discipline area of teacher librarianship. We have teachers that are in the elementary, middle or junior, senior high schools, and they work with us, they study with us while they're working full-time or part-time in their schools or school libraries. The program focuses on developing inspiring leaders, successful collaborators and innovative information professionals. A really important brief, and something we needed to keep addressing to ensure that we had great graduates. 2 years part-time with 8 subjects. You can see the subjects listed here, and they are of course what you might expect to see in a degree of this kind. However, you can also see, if you look at the titles of the subjects, that it incorporates the digital elements. So not only are our students studying online, but they're also expected to acquire the skills that will allow them to operate in their schools in digital environments, both in terms of social networking, digital citizenship, digital identity, the use of literature in digital environments, and also the Web2 tools that you can use online for knowledge networking. So a very important area that has to be covered in this course. So you can understand that these teachers are being prepared for professional leadership as teacher librarians in both primary and secondary education, and that this course is intended to expand students' knowledge and professional practice in multimodal information environments. At the end of the day, we want them to become a leader in 21st century learning environments. So that's our challenge. How are we going to ensure that our course continued to achieve this and did so in an online environment with subjects that have been enhanced to maximise the capacity of our platforms at CSU? Our focus was driven by learning and teaching. Our focus was to enhance the quality across the curriculum of the course. We have a great course. We had a great course. We still continue to develop that course, as we all do, of course. But we wanted to ensure that we had some new foundational underpinnings to ensure the processes at play. So not just the course, but the subjects within the course. And this is a question that you may well be asking yourselves in relation to either your courses or particular subjects within a course, where you want to rationalise and strengthen the outcomes of the experience for the students. This is because we all want learning outcomes to be responsive, to be flexible, to be engaging and to be innovative at the end of the day. Depending on your particular discipline area, of course, the reasons for that will be different. But in the case of teaching and teacher librarianship, one of the factors is the future skills environment that our schools are working in, and in particular the leadership roles that teacher librarians would need to undertake. You can see from the future work Skills 2020 document that there are some critical elements that we need to have at the back of our mind as we work with our students in online environments. Online subject enhancement is not just about looking better and feeling better, but it's about changing the foundational practices that our students are engaged with in the learning experience, whether it's for themselves or in a participatory peer-to-peer environment. We know from the New Media Consortia Horizon report that in K-12 education in 2015 some critical issues were identified that are relevant to tertiary education. For example, one of the problems that was identified as a challenge and yet solvable was creating authentic learning opportunities. This is a terrific way of engaging with students through Thinkspace. Integrating technology into teacher education, again, another great way to use Thinkspace. And personalising learning. This is classes being difficult. I think we can actually do something about that to personalise the learning experience right now with the use of Thinkspace. And the wicked challenge, scaling teaching innovations. We can do that too. So there's a lot of evidence in the literature, as you know, for changing our practices and integrating technology into authentic learning practices. And of course they relate to the realm of skills and the realm of technology that are available to us. They're not about playing with tools, but they're about integrating foundational practices within the professions that we're working in. So in this particular instance, I'm having a look at the use of e-portfolios for the use of Thinkspace. So while Thinkspace can be used for a number of activities, this particular focus is now on the e-portfolio use within the Master of Education Teacher Librarianship. I love this graphic here because it pinpoints all the key issues that we need to consider when engaging our students in the learning experience, who they are, what they can benefit and what they can contribute to their future work practices. What are the learning outcomes? What are the artefacts that we're going to use? What are we going to do with the use of an e-portfolio? Luckily, the Master of Education Teacher Librarianship provided a great opportunity for exploring the depth of use of an e-portfolio within the course. After much discussion, we knew that some of our subjects were already using an online tool, asking students perhaps to create a blog. There was sort of piecemeal use of these online tools for reflection practices. Here was an opportunity to take a course that had a single keystone subject, to introduce an approach that could then be carried through the course, resulting in an e-portfolio approach and aggregating the learning at the end of the course. So ETL 401, Introduction to Teacher Librarianship, keystone subject. Important that they study this first. Possible for them to start with just this one subject, focusing them on the new profession, their new role, the new knowledge and the new areas they're going to be working in. Bingo! Why don't we start with a reflective portfolio from day one and ensure that they themselves have a record of what they've learnt as they progress? The culmination of the course is ETL 507, the professional experience and portfolio, and this is where the e-portfolio process wraps up at the end of the course. In actual fact, the students are using the Thinkspace blog in most of their subjects, if not all of them, some in more detail, some in less detail, but always maintaining a record. And the content of the subject, therefore, can become largely student-driven. And in this particular last subject, the actual experience of ETL 507 is definitely student-driven. So you move from the very first subject where an e-portfolio approach using an online journal is integrated to the final subject where it becomes the full wrap-up experience. In this particular subject, students have incorporated into it a study visit, a placement experience and a final reflective portfolio. However, having had this Thinkspace process applying throughout the course, the strength of what they can do in this final subject is multiplied by 7, or is it 8, because there's 8 subjects. So they're able to aggregate and analyse their learning experience during the course of study, not just during the course of this particular subject. So welcome to CSU Thinkspace. Do go and visit it and see what it has to offer you. Have a look at the Getting Started guides and see how you can use it. I'm going to share just a few more screenshots about how it actually played out in the use of this tool for this particular course. The golden circle, why we do it, how we do it, and what we do isn't something that you need to answer for yourselves. It belongs to course design teams. You all will have, depending on your discipline area or the faculty, reasons for using or adopting an e-portfolio approach, or reasons for using Thinkspace for a web tool, for online publications, or whatever it might be. So use this kind of golden circle to help you integrate this fantastic tool to enhance your online subject experiences. But let me put together some of the pieces of the puzzle for you. An opportunity for students to demonstrate functioning knowledge in the context of intended learning outcomes for the subject or the course. This is the formative process that you're looking for. In education, we're very much moved away from the summative process, but we haven't quite nutted out how to use good formative processes to build independence in learning. We want our students to understand and be confident in their reflective knowledge construction. We want them to adopt self-directed learning strategies and ultimately to have strong life learning capabilities. So in the introduction of the portfolios in our course, we wanted to ensure that we provided encouragement for reflection. Both, though, discipline and the freedom of structure. So within that, we sometimes like to structure the learning experiences, but we also want them to feel completely open and honest in what they're learning, and to be collaborative and to share their experiences and even write on each other's blogs at various times to provide feedback. We also want them to be able to use their blog spaces as an opportunity to assess their own strengths and weaknesses, and ultimately in the portfolio right at the end, to be able to examine a collection of examples and review their subject experience, one subject at a time, and finally wrap it all up. This process leads to self-assessment, and it helps to build their goals for future development and professional growth. So we've incorporated, in this challenge of using CSU Thinkspace, we've incorporated assessments, digital artifacts, course-specific learning experiences, professional engagement opportunities, and we've incorporated digital literacies working in and online with the students right through the program. We've also redesigned and transformed the course from a collection of subjects into an intentionally designed learning experience, from a degree with a portfolio requirement into a portfolio enhanced learning program. There's a significant difference in this, where the students are now graduating with evidence of their personal and professional capabilities in their new discipline field. So we start in ETL 401. We start immediately with the lecturer providing feedback on their very first post, and then we have a scaled approach throughout all the subjects, where the lecturers may simply be reviewing a final reflection, where they may be engaging with the students within the subject, depending on the nature of the subject. So more interactive digital subjects will require more engagements if the students are building digital artifacts, for example. We'll build into the process all those digital affordances and the capacity to use them well, references, hyperlinks, attribution, use of Creative Commons, having fun, learning how to create a blog, learning how to use digital platforms, not like a Word document, but something more interactive, and being able to engage in personal reflection and sharing throughout the program. So those specific responses to modules and topic areas are integrated also with assessment processes and ultimately wrapped up in an authentic learning experience. So some quick screen captures. You can see this one here, evaluating a section of the library collection. This is one where the students are simply sharing what they have to offer. So it's not marked, but it's part of that ongoing professional dialogue between students. Oh my goodness, look what she's got in hers. That's fantastic. I didn't think of that. prompting that ongoing reflection about the professional details that they're learning for their discipline field. And then at other times where they actually describe what they're doing in their preparation and their planning. And finally, to examples where the actual assessment task is embedded in the portfolio as well. So you can use that portfolio as an aggregation of a multitude of learning experiences throughout a subject and throughout a course. And we see some amazing feedback from the students. Finally, I had an aha moment. I mean, surely that's what we want the learning experiences to be about. We want them to not only know that they had a revelation, but to remember that they had that so that they can keep building on that as they keep learning. They're able to say things like, the modules were dense with readings that gave me the vocabulary, which led to discussing leadership styles and change, and the work that they keep doing. Little things like learning how to use the affordance of the web also get slipped into the program as they go. So here we've got an example of learning how to use organisational systems within web environments. We cover off a lot of digital environments as the processes go through, and you'll see from the right-hand side that you'll see that there are different comments coming back from the students. So small evidence here that it's not just a single closed activity of an individual keeping a record of reflections, but a genuine participatory process with others. More critical reflection. Again, you can see from the recent posts on the right-hand side that some of those are listed as official assessment steps and stairs, leading to something that they finally build up to. And ultimately, the goal for us is to engage students in that social media environment, in the networking principles, and to understand where that connects to the digital 21st century learning environment of education and schools today. So I believe that participatory pedagogy has transformed some of the workings of our courses. And this is because in online subject enhancement, what we want is academic programs that are taking account of current and future personal and professional information needs of students, and doing that now as they are studying, moving away from pen and paper to something really fantastically digital. In a participatory pedagogy, we've integrated the affordances of web environments, we've acknowledged open educational resources, we've introduced students to appropriate Creative Commons licensing, and shown them how to use the different web tools to speed up their information transactions, their study organisation, and their attribution processes. For example, you'll see the URL underneath that image. That is the tip and a trick that we're able to teach the students to do efficiently and effectively. Correct attribution, not engaging in a lot of time to do it, but acknowledging the creative works of others. So the e-portfolio is then central and becomes a common point for the student learning experience. It's also a reflection of the student ongoing continuous professional and personal development. It's not just a store of evidence. So it's personal thoughts as well as professional statements. It's a genuine contribution that shows the growth of a student and provides a valuable, summative, creative aggregation of what has happened for a student as they've learned, allowing them to use all that information to finalise their e-portfolio in their last capstone subject. Ultimately, I hope that we generate people at CSU who think critically, question fearlessly, reflect personally. I think you can use the CSU Thinkspace in a number of different ways to do that. But here are some reasons why you could consider using Thinkspace for portfolios or individual subjects: communication, curation, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. Revisit these ideas and see if you can make use of CSU Thinkspace for subjects or creative portfolios. I think you've got an excellent way of creating quality portfolios for learning innovation. Feel free to contact me for assistance or further information. There's just too much good stuff that we can do using CSU Thinkspace. Thank you very much.